Part 5 of the calculator. Actually, I noticed something interesting after the last video, which is that the test worked, but when I ran this, it panicked because it says called result unwrap on an error value and kind empty. So it was passing in this at the end of I think it was at the end of here, because what we have is the let's see, right, where was it? End matches. There we go. So we have this trim end matches method here, and it's going to take out all of this, anything at the end if it has a plus or a minus, and but it didn't include the last one here, which is a space. So let's do that. And then now it'll take out spaces as well as pluses and minuses, and then the only thing left is a number. And of course, this is possible to unwrap or 0, but I'm just going to keep it in there because it's kind of it's interesting. I kind of like having it panic when something goes wrong, so you can check, because if this had been unwrap or 0, then I wouldn't have noticed that this was not deleting spaces at the end. And then so this is an example of where leaving unwraps can be helpful when you're putting your code together. Maybe if you ship it off to somebody to use, then you want to make sure that never panic, so you would do this. But unwrap can be kind of a useful way to tell you when something's going wrong. So let's see, what was next? So all right, now we're going to first add some more tests. I'm just going to copy and paste these in because they are pretty long to type. So just these two. So 9 plus 9 minus 9 minus 9. This should be 0. 8 minus 9 with a bunch of characters on the end, and this should be 8. And let's just run this test here, and they should all pass. And yep, they're all okay. So 7 tests, 7 are okay. And you can see it always tells you this, 7 passed, 0 failed, ignored, filtered out, and so on. This is when you have a cargo installed. You can instruct, do some more instructions and say, okay, just run this test, or ignore this test. And then you don't have to, comment out your code. You can just tell Rust which ones to test, but we're not going to do that on the playground. So the next thing, so when you first, get something to work, then probably the most fun thing to do is to say, okay, Clippy, what did I do wrong, or what could I have done better? And let's turn it to run, and then Clippy, will go through and maybe find some interesting things to improve. So here's one. So while let sum entry equals math iter next, it says, hey, why don't you try this? Because you don't actually have to do a while let. You can just do a for loop. So I guess that's right. So for entry in math iter, and you can see now it's shorter, and we have we've shortened our code a little bit. And this is another one. This is a good point. So equality checks against true are necessary. So you don't have to say, if you have a bool, you don't have to say equals true. So you just say if adds. So you take that out, and you can see it also has these little notes here. So if if you're checking Clippy and you have a good reason for this, and you would like Clippy to be quiet about that, then you can take this and change warn to allow, and then I'll stop warning you. So we'll do this again. Variable does not need to be mutable. That's true. Let math iter. There we go. Let's do it again. Const is never used. That's fine. And we never used main. That's fine because we're doing tests. And so that is, Clippy, is a good first place to start. And then the next, but it won't tell you everything, and it won't tell you how to actually outright refactor your code. So that's what we're going to do now. So let's make this a little bit cooler. So let's put this struct together. So this will be more. It'll feel more like a real type. So instead of just a vec in the middle of nowhere, we'll have a calculator, and calculator is going to have some stuff. So that's the result vec. Instead of this push string, this thing here, push string isn't really telling us what it's doing. So we're going to change that to current input, make that a string. The total is I32, and then adds is of course a bool, and that is our calculator. And then we're going to implement it, and then we're going to have a function new, and that's going to take a self, or return a self, I mean, and that is going to be this. So we've got results. That's just going to be an empty vec. Current input, this is a string, so it's going to be a string new. There's nothing inside there when we start. Total is of course going to be 0, and adds is going to be true. And let's see, so that is, well, we're already at close to 7 minutes. So that's what it's going to look like. And if you want, you can fool around yourself and go through the code and try to change it to a calculator struct, but it shouldn't be too hard. But anyway, we'll be doing that in the next video.